to SMS News. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Lexi. Today is April 9th.
Happy Friday!
For this week's broadcast, we have an interview with Mr. Rummelhart, a weather segment by Elizabeth, a recipe for a treat by Jessica, and book recommendations with Andrew.
Let's start with an interview with Mr. Rummelhart.
Okay, we are recording.
Okay, hi. Thank you
Hello.
for coming with me today. So I just have a few questions for you for the SMS News broadcast.
Go for it.
First question. What is your favorite part of being a sixth grade ELA teacher?
Oh, I love so many things about being a sixth grade ELA teacher. I think my favorite thing is the kids. I love being in school and being around young people, but I also love reading and writing so much. And so kind of combining those two things is my favorite, getting kids interested in reading and writing and talking about books and all that.
Yeah. What inspired you to become an ELA teacher?
You know, I really love reading and writing, and I've always just wanted to be around books and be around the written word. And I think I've always loved school and kids. And like I said, those two things kind of combined inspired me. I think I had some really good ELA teachers when I was in middle school and high school that I looked up to. And I saw how big of an impact they could have on kids. And I wanted to have a big impact and make the lives of students better as well. So that's what inspired me.
Okay, and last question. We heard you were going to be a dad. What's it like knowing you'll be a dad, and what are you most excited for?
This is a good question. I'm just starting to think about it. It's very exciting learning that I'm going to be a dad. It's something that I wanted to do for a while. My wife and I are both very excited. You know, I think, what was the second part of your question?
Hold on, let me look. What are you most excited for?
What am I most excited for? That's tough. I'm excited for all of it. I think it's going to be all challenging, but I think I always say to my wife, you know, you're awesome, I'm awesome, so let's make another awesome person. So I think I'm just excited to have another member of the family, another awesome thing in this universe.
Okay. Well, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was so cool to learn some more about one of our amazing Shepherd teachers.
Yeah, it was.
Now, here's Andrew with some good book recommendations.
Okay, today I have some book suggestions for you, and I guarantee that you'll seem interested in at least one of them. Our first one up is The Unwanted, which is actually a series, and it's sort of a fantasy, adventure, mystery. Some books are more mystery than others, but it's mainly fantasy and adventure. It's about this kid who lives in a town where they hate creativity. On a scheduled day every year, everyone who turns 11 that year is reviewed, and if they've shown any sign of creativity in the past 11 years, they get sent to be killed. If they showed only respect to the laws and they go to a special school to get taught law stuff and stuff, if they're between, they sort of are tasked with the jobs, like cleaning up the garbage on the streets and all that stuff, even burying the dead people, which is a little gross if you ask me. Alex, the main character, he's sentenced to death because he was caught drawing a stick in the dirt. Drawing a triangle in the dirt with a stick. Alex is saved by this man who's supposed to be the one killing him, but his brother, who went to the school, he gets involved in things, and things just go sideways. The next one's Restart, which is a realistic fiction book, and it's got a tiny bit of mystery and suspense in there. It's about a kid who falls on his head and gets amnesia. He doesn't remember anything before the fall. And when he gets to school for his first day since being at the hospital, everyone has different versions of him. And some look at him with fear. Others look at him like they were best friends, but he has no idea who any of them are. And no one, all his friends, can't wait for him to get his memory back so he can be his old self. But the stories he keeps hearing of his old self, he keeps asking himself the same question: do I want to be my old self? So that's a good one there. Another realistic fiction is called Miss Bigsby's Last Day. It's got a little suspense in there, but mostly just a realistic fiction. It's about three kids who have a great teacher, better than great. And she announces that she's sick and she won't be able to teach the rest of the school year. Once she leaves, the three kids feel that they need to see her again. They come up with a plan to skip school and visit the hospital. The book switches through the three different boys every chapter, and each time we get a little more on what Miss Bigsby meant to each of the kids. So that's a good one. Sort of like, and it sort of has a finding yourself vibe, like Restart does. And we've got another one that has a sort of finding yourself vibe. It's called A Tangle of Knots. It's a mystery with a dash of fantasy. It's about a world where people have talent spelled with capital T. And there's a talent thief. And like everyone's born with a talent, sort of. And but some of people don't have a talent, and they're called fair people, which I feel is kind of rude. But there's a talent thief that's after a young orphan's talent. And in the process, though, he accidentally brings together a huge mystery that nobody is trying to solve. And it's sort of like, and it's this orphan, there's more we learn about this orphan's family, and no one's really trying to get involved in the mystery. It just appears before them and they have no choice but to take it. So thank you for listening. I hope that you found at least one of these interesting. That's a book suggestion report from me, Andrew Calderon.
Thank you so much for those great recommendations, Andrew.
I look forward to reading some of those.
Now, here's Elizabeth with our weekly weather report.
It's weather time. Hello, welcome to the weather. Today's weather is somewhat cloudy with a high of 60 and a low of 48. This weekend's weather is predicted to be rainy with a high of 60 and a low of 47, very similar to today. Recently, there was a meteor tsunami on Lake Michigan. Let's take a closer look.
We know atmospheric gravity waves, which bring pressure changes, likely have driven meteor tsunamis in the past, but we've never really documented one and investigated it until now.
And also, scattered severe storms are expected in the southern parts of the U.S. Let's find out more.
Severe weather coming up late this week into the weekend. It's going to be Friday into Saturday. A new storm system, not the same one that's going to be producing severe weather midweek. We're going to have to watch out from East Texas, especially around the Dallas area. That's where these storms could be the nastiest. But the severe threat on Friday is going to extend a little bit farther toward the east of there as well, to include parts of the lower Mississippi River Valley. Okay, it's a little bit early to tell what the exact threats are going to be, but it could be a little bit nasty, especially around Dallas, other parts of East Texas. And then Saturday, the threat's going to kind of continue to be a little bit closer to the Gulf Coast and a little bit farther toward the south and east. Now, there is going to be a lot of rain that falls from this system, and with the rain that's already going to be falling from this midweek system that'll produce some severe weather as well in some of these same spots, we could end up with some flooding this weekend down in the deep south, so be prepared for that.
Did you know every year we produce nearly 300 million tons of plastic, and that by 2050 there will be more plastic than fish in the oceans? We all need to work on our plastic waste. Here are 5 ways to cut your plastic waste.
Threats to our environment. We produce about 300 million tons of it every year. The most popular things we make are things like these. But of all the plastic ever created, only 9% has been recycled, which means a lot of it ended up in the dump and our natural environment. In fact, 8 million tons of plastic is dumped into our oceans every year. By 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in our waters. But the same durability that makes plastic so useful also makes it a danger to our marine environment. This stuff takes years to break down, and as it does, it can end up in the food chain, where it releases harmful toxins, contaminating fish, that we ourselves eat. Though at this point, scientists don't know exactly what eating contaminated fish does to the human body. What we do know is that there are ways to help keep plastic from ending up in the dump and our oceans in the first place. Here are 5 things you can do to use less plastic. Cut out plastic straws. Use stainless steel or card ones instead. Bring a reusable carrier bag with you instead of relying on plastic ones. Pack meals in reusable containers. Invest in reusable bottles for drinks instead of using plastic bottles or takeaway cups. And here's a surprising one. Stop chewing gum. It's made of synthetic rubber, which is a type of plastic. So remember, your plastic picks can make a change.
And researchers at Georgia Tech have been developing a research robot. So meet Slothbot, the cutest robot fighting climate change.
The Slothbot is a ridiculously slow, hyper-energy efficient robot that lives up amongst the trees and basically just sits there and measures environmental factors like temperature or humidity or air quality. And every now and then it runs low on battery and it goes out and sunbathes and then goes back in and does its measurements. Step 1 to really doing something about the climate threat and challenge that we're facing is really understanding fundamentally what's going on. The idea for the Slothbot literally came from me going to Costa Rica on vacation and getting really, really excited about sloths. I could not understand how these slow, tasty animals that were just sitting there waiting to be eaten by a jaguar, how they could survive. So I started reading about sloths and I got more and more excited about this idea of embracing slowness in robotics. When you're out in an environment measuring things that are evolving over weeks and months, you don't have to be fast. My hope for the future with the Slothbot is that there will be many Slothbots deployed under the tree canopies in rainforests or up in snowy landscapes, doing things like measuring environmental factors. I would like to see entire herds of Slothbots up in the forests. So did it come across as exciting? Because this is freaking exciting.
And that's it for the weather. Bye.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Now, my co-host Jessica, who is amazing, will be sharing a fun recipe that you can make at home.
Today, we have a fun spring craft that you can make at home. It's festive and delicious. All you need is an Oreo cookie, some chocolate chips or melting wafers, and some sanding sugar to decorate. Melt the wafers at 50% power for 30-second increments until they are melted and look like liquid. Once the chips are melted, you're going to take your Oreo and dip it in to the melted candies and make sure you get at least the top covered. You can also cover the top and the bottom so that the Oreo is completely soaked in the chocolate. Then, you're going to take your sanding sugar and you're going to lightly dust it on top of the Oreo. As much sanding sugar as you want for decoration. It also tastes pretty good too. And then you have your completed Oreo.
That looks so good, Jessica. I can't wait to make some of those.
Thank you, Lexi.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching this week's SMS News. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.